Hello everybody, Janae here. I am coming to you with the second part of my unhaul. Like I mentioned in all the other videos where I've talked about this unhaul, a lot of these books I've had for a really long time, some of them not so long. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't like, but all of them I'm just getting off of my shelves so I can make room for new books. I'm going through a whole spring cleaning phase. I'm getting rid of books, I'm getting rid of clothes, I'm getting rid of shoes, I'm getting rid of a lot of things, but this is my bookish channel, and so I'm going to focus on the books. This is the second box of books. They're all random. I did not sort them according to anything. I'm just going box by box and showing you all of the books. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it so that this isn't super long, and feel free to let me know what you think at the end. All right, so the first book that I am unhauling in this part of the unhaul is The Rage of a Privileged Class. Why are middle class blacks angry? Why should America care? And this is by Ellis Coase. Coase? I don't know. I bought this book when I was in college, so years and years ago. I never fully read it. I read a few chapters. I was interested, but I just don't want to read it. I thoroughly enjoy books on race, but I've just bought so many since then that I kind of want to focus on kind of guess my updated library on the matter, and I just don't see myself picking this one back up. So goodbye. The next book that I'm unhauling, I'm realizing that I DNF a lot more books than I realized. So the next book is Heist Society by Ali Carter. Ali Carter wrote the, oh my gosh, Gallagher Girls, the Gallagher Girls series. I think it's a middle grade, maybe YA, whatever, something in that area, series about a group of, a girls' academy, and they learn to be spies. And so this was her take on another, I think this is a part of a series, the first in a series. I just didn't really enjoy it. It didn't grab me, and so I'm getting rid of it. I've owned it for years and years and haven't picked it back up in all that time, so I think I'm good. Bye. The next book that I am unhauling is The Eternal Engagement by Mary B. Morrison. So I really like Mary B. Morrison. I don't think I've read a book of hers that I don't like, and this one is no exception. I really enjoyed this book. It's just been so long since I've read it. I don't think I'm going to read it again, and if I had to pick a Mary B. Morrison book to keep on my shelves, it wouldn't necessarily be this one, although I really did really enjoy it. I won't even, but like, I just really enjoyed the book, but I'm not going to keep it, so goodbye. So the next book that I am unhauling is Ordinary Resurrections by Jonathan Kozol. He wrote Savage Inequalities, which is a book I think I showed when I was talking about my nonfiction books a few months ago. I'm just not going to read it. And it makes me sad, but this book is also really dated, as is Savage Inequalities, which I might be unhauling that. It might be in one of these boxes. I'm not sure, but it's just a little bit dated. It is a social issues nonfiction book. I, again, really enjoy those, but I feel like I can get something that's more relevant and more up to date, and so I'm just going to go ahead and unhaul this one. The next book I'm unhauling is The Family Tree by Barbara Delinsky. If you saw my December wrap up, you saw that, wow, okay. You saw that I read another Barbara Delinsky book, and I couldn't remember which one I had read before. It was this one. I really enjoyed this. I really like Barbara Delinsky. I just don't think, she doesn't write books that I'm going to keep forever. They're super poignant, and they make me think, and they're real, and like, they're gritty and emotional and raw. I don't know, honestly, why I don't want to keep it on my shelf, but I just don't think I'm going to come back to it. So there's no point in keeping it. So I'm going to say goodbye to this, but I would recommend it, honestly. It's a really, really good book. So the next book I'm unhauling is Anything He Wants, Dominated by the Billionaire, and this is by Sarah Fox. This is one of those books that kind of seemed inspired by the whole like 50 Shades of Grey, that wave of books that came out around that time. And I read them. I read 50 Shades. I've read several of the series, and I don't actually mind them. They're not like literary, like novels, but they're fine to read. This is definitely an erotica book. I just don't need it anymore. Like I read it and it was good and that's it. So I'm done with it. That's all. So the next book that I'm going to unhaul is The Future of Us by Jay Asher and Carolyn Mackler. I read this book, but I really don't remember. I liked it. I remember picking it up because Jay Asher was one of the co-authors, and I really enjoyed 13 Reasons Why. I'm keeping that book. I really enjoyed it, so I kind of wanted to see what this one was about and what it was like. I liked it, but like I said, I read it a few years ago. I don't really remember it, and I don't want to read it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. The next book I'm unhauling is God Loves Ugly by Krista Black. Oh, God Loves Ugly and Love Makes Beautiful. I don't really have a reason that I'm unhauling this. I never read it. I was super interested in it when I bought it. This is another one I'm a little bit on the fence about, but you know, I'm getting rid of books for a reason, and the fact that I put this book in the unhaul box in the first place means I probably just should get rid of it. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, I've heard great things. I'm just not going to read it. So the next book I'm unhauling is Men at Work by Janelle Dennison, Nina Bangs, and Mary Janice Davidson. So as you can probably tell, this book is actually 3 like kind of short stories, novellas, I guess, written by these 3 women, and they're all about men who are quote unquote good with their hands. That's like what it says right there. Yeah, I read it years ago. I don't need to read it again, and it doesn't really need a place on my shelves, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. The next book that I am getting rid of is called Class by Cecily Von Ziegesar. I never learned how to say that name. I'm very sorry. But the woman who wrote the Gossip Girl series, I didn't like this. I didn't even finish it. Like, yeah, it was okay, what I read of it. But then I put it down and never picked it back up and didn't want to. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go. The next book that I'm going to unhaul is The Dead and the Gone by Susan Beth Pfeffer. I picked this book up because it sounded really interesting. It looks really cool. I don't know a whole lot about what it's about, but I do know that it's the sequel to a book, and I didn't realize that when I bought it. And I'm just not about, like, I can't do any more series right now. And I've had this one for so long that I just don't really care anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, drop this off in the donation pile and move on. So the next 2 books actually that I'm going to unhaul are the Carrie Diaries and Summer in the City by Candace Bushnell. I read them and I enjoyed them. I was a Sex and the City fan when the series was out. I was a little too young, but I like binge watched the entire series when I was in college, and so these were really interesting prequels. I'm just, you know, I'm done with them. And I think somebody else might really enjoy them, so I'm going to give someone else a chance to do that. The next book I'm unhauling is The Gods of Guilt by Michael Connolly. I think my grandmother left this book in my apartment by accident, and I believe she told me to just keep it because she had finished it. I'm not going to read it, and she doesn't want it back, so I'm just going to donate it and see if somebody else wants to take a crack at this. So yeah, just gonna let this go. And those are all the books I have in part 2 of this unhaul. I think the biggest box I left for last. I didn't mean to, but you know, it is what it is. So those are books that I'm unhauling. I feel like there's at least one in every box. I'm like, oh, do I want to get rid of this? I don't know, but most likely I will. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. You could be anywhere and you're here with me, and I love you for it. I really do. I hope you have a good weekend, good day, week, night, whatever's happening when you're watching this. I'm going to let you go, and I will be bringing you the 3rd and last part of this unhaul soon. So yes, whatever the next video is, I will catch you there. Goodbye.